So I'm gonna do a little decoding of Rogue One now that I've seen it finally with astrology. And I'm not gonna do the type of the decoding that relates to how that reveals a message and how humanity and where we are today relates to that movie or any secret conspiracy or anything. Nothing like that. But I'm a conceptual astrologer, and I wholeheartedly believe that the universal consciousness breaks things down through astrological constructs and messages. What we call the cosmos, planets, aspects, all that kind of stuff. So now, on a conceptual level, you have to think of motifs, ideas. You have to think of, of big concepts, things of that sort, and where they fit in the astrological zodiac. What is the premier energy that most associates with those types of constructs, those types of ideas, those types of images, those types of symbology? And you have to remember that in astrology, a lot of different things can mean the same thing, as well as still have their own unique individualism. So, I think of astrology and I think of the idea as what is the most prominent energy that's associated with it. And so as through that way of thinking that I start to decipher ideas, constructs, motifs, themes, subject matters through the astrological lens and break it down like that. So when we're talking about Star Wars, one of the first things I want to mention is that there was in the current Star Wars movies, there's a configuration that's going on in the stars. Uranus, planet Uranus, and it's in the sign Aries. Now, Uranus represents the stars, the cosmos, astrology. It represents the higher technology, higher intelligence, artificial intelligence, humanity as a whole, unity. It represents cosmic energy, electricity, It represents science, that weird science, that high science. It represents weird things, awkwardness, quirkiness, nerds. The whole idea, the whole theme or motif of the scientist, the nerd, or the different, wild, the cowboy, the outlaw, bandit, the rogue. And, it represents, weapons of mass destruction, catastrophe. It represents enlightenment as well, and genius. So these are just key words that are associated with Uranus, the planet, and its connection to Aquarius, and in some people, in some contexts, Capricorn too, but particularly Aquarius. And it being in the sign Aries, and Aries represents this whole plethora of keywords too. Aries motif is the warrior. It's war, battle, the weapons. It represents energy, excitement, speed. It represents a leader taking the lead or leadership. It represents the head, one. The number one. Starting and beginnings and things of that nature. It represents anger, blood, violence, but it represents motivation and drive, pioneership, bravery. So, those are just some keywords. I don't want to go into like a whole bunch of keywords to it, but more particularly, what I'm focused on is that Uranus and Aries was the configuration in which Star Wars: The Awakening came out of. We understand that Uranus can represent star, and we understand that our Aries can represent wars. So already, the skies don't lie. When when the movie came out under the auspices of this transit of Uranus and Aries, so we have a force, okay, a force awakening. So Star Wars, which is Uranus and Aries, force awakening. Okay, well, everyone knows that an epiphany it's a Zen snafu. It's like an awakening, awakening of knowledge, which is Uranus. So Uranus can be that swift awakening, as well as Aries can be that force. So we see how under the auspices of this astrological configuration, Star Wars: Force Awakening came out. Now, a year later, under the same auspices, Rogue One comes out, and Rogue is Uranus, and Aries is 1. Okay, so then you have Rogue One, Uranus and Aries again. So I'm just showing you now. One of the most particular motifs or slogans that was promoted during the movie that I love, and you heard throughout the movie, was that a rebellion is built on hope. That's very, very important, because rebellion is Aquarius. Now, you have to understand how all the signs interact with one another. They interlink. So everything is one. So each sign is represented through another sign in its sequential space at which it comes. So when we're talking about rebellions, we're talking about Aquarius. So imagine that if this was a zodiac chart, we put Aquarius to the ascendant, it becomes the subject matter. And then we will read Aquarius from the ascendant. Every sign after that in sequential order would overlap each of all of those houses and those life matters and influence those life matters dealing from that subject matter. So now we're talking about rebellions. Well, Aquarius is rebellious. Okay, in the second place of Aquarius is Pisces. Pisces occupies the second house cusp. And the second house is nominally a fixed type of atmosphere, because the natural ruler of the second house is or occupier of the second house cusp is Taurus, and the natural ruler is Venus. So it's fixed, and the second place is a place. Some of the key words are security and its foundation and support are some of the key words of the second house. And so with Pisces being there, Pisces is hope. Pisces is miracles. Pisces is spirituality. Pisces is meditation, dreams, dreaming, sleep, visualization. Just some of the key words, because I don't want to go deep into what it all is. But for the purpose of what I'm talking about, for that slogan that a rebellion is built on hope, that's purely astrological knowledge. Purely. Think about it. If Aquarius represents and is associated with the idea of a rebellion, then the second place that supports the first place, that supports its outward manifestation, that supports its face, its body, its being, that second place is the sign Pisces. So in this instance, Aquarius is standing on Pisces. So the rebellion is built on hope. In the age of Aquarius, which I know we are in, hope is the currency of this age. 361.